Hi, this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style, and I want to show you some charts here real quick. This is MSTR, and this is the monthly chart. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit for you. Starting to learn how to do charts a little bit better thanks to Shade's trades. Um, we got some concern. We've had a wonderful run on this stock since 2024. As you can see, it's just been doing absolutely amazing month over month for a long time. Now we have a little bit of concern here. We almost touched the RSI. We were way overheated here back last year when we ran to our all-time high of right around 550 a share. And then we couldn't pass 450, 460. That's where we peaked out. And then since then, we've been on just a terrible downtrend since July from the top of 450-ish all the way down. We're currently sitting at 297. So that's over $150 a share down, which sucks. And then when you see this curl on the long dated monthly MACD trend, that's concerning over a long period of time. But since we've had such a bad downturn, that's why this is flipping. So this could flip back, but we will see. But this is concerning long term, probably 6 months from now. But um, that can change. Now the weekly, same thing we're seeing on the weekly here. Extended. Also, this line is above the zero line, and now it's starting to come below the zero line, which is showing a little bit more weakness. But we also could possibly be in a consolidation phase between 3 and 400. Now I know that's a big jump, but this stock is volatile. $100 a share, it can move. It moved 60. It was at $360 a share last week. So yeah, this stock can move a lot fast, and we're a mile off the 200-day moving average in the weekly. Where are we at? Monthly. Yeah, mile off of it too, which we should be. Um, so we're bearish on all of them, on all the charts. That's not great. And then here's the daily. We're also bearish on the daily. We flipped right here and had a nice little run up. Low RSI back in September. September to October. Nice run on the RSI, nice run on the stock. $60 a share. And we had confirmation. Now, right in here is when we started to change the trend. And this is probably where I would have maybe started getting out. But there's the confirmation. So you confirmed right around that 330 range. Anyhow, so we're still bearish on the daily. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Now, this is what I was playing since we're bearish along across the board. This is the day chart on the 5-minute candle, or on the 5-minute. Now, I don't even necessarily need candles. Sometimes I take them off because I don't really know how to read them too well. I'll take them off and go to a line chart just so it makes my lines a little bit more smooth and I'm not sitting here waiting. But once I get better at candles, I can get better at the confirmation of what those candles are doing. Anyhow, on the day, we had a nice MACD crossover here. Wait a minute, where was I playing this? Why does this not look right? Oh, right here. This is not, something's off. Hold on one sec. Let me refresh this because this doesn't look like it did earlier. Maybe if it ever. Doesn't seem right to me. When was I playing this? Oh, I'm in the wrong time frame. Huh. I was looking in. That's why I didn't look the same. So back here, I was looking. I had some free time at work, and I was able to look at my account a little bit. And right in here, I decided to play a covered call right around here, either here or here. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I played it up here. Shoot, now I can't remember what time I was playing this covered call this morning, actually. I'll have to look and see. You know what? Let's just look and see real quick. Because I played a covered call, I bought it back. 50 bucks, 10.20. Opened it at 10.20, closed it at 10.50. So I literally only had this open for a half an hour, 35 minutes. Now let's go and look. 10.20, opened it at 10.20. Right here. So I opened it either at the end of this candle or sometime in this candle. Why? Now, there wasn't any confirmation, but from what I know about covered calls and just the day, and then looking at the sentiment of the lines, the charts for the monthly, weekly, and daily all being bearish, and then this having a run up, but we were getting close to our RSI right there. RSI peaked above 70. That's usually a bearish, and it needs to come down and cool off. The histogram. So here's where we got a confirmation of the trend change. So technically, the best time to play the confirmation was right here when we fell underneath when the lines crossed on the MACD. One's called signal line, one's a MACD line. So when this line crossed over this one, when the white line crossed over the yellow one, this is when the confirmation for the trend change happened. So if you would have opened a covered call here at 305 and then you played it all the way until the trend changed, you had a nice $3 drop. Now, you could have possibly played this, and they could have done the same thing. As you can see, when the Bollinger Band or when the MACD is spread at its furthest point, and the histogram really starts to do this, and then maybe starts to curl down, that's when I look at other indicators like my RSI. That's why I sold the covered call here. And then there was some extra volatility. I can't remember the exact place that I bought it in the company. It still went up. And then I made 50 bucks when it came right in here. I just had a limit order set and it hit right here. So in 30 minutes, I made 50 bucks playing a covered call. But what I didn't do was play the rest of the chart. This trend never changed. I got freaked out a little bit right here because it started to come back up. I don't know why. Trend didn't change. Everything else was, I mean, the day sentiment looked whatever. There was probably not going to be any news today. And here we are. So I missed a $5 move, which would have been another $250 on my option if I had just held it open, paying attention to my charts. But I was able to open one up here and still make 50 bucks, which is about a third of a day's wage for me. So that's nice. So I was able to make, and 50 bucks in a half an hour. That's pretty good wage anyhow. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at when I'm looking at different things. But right now so here's the rest of the day. I should have just, held some calls open. But right in here, we trend changed again. I would have probably been out somewhere in here because we were starting to curl back up. I already made decent money on the covered call. I wish I'd have played this too. So that's what I got to do. I got to get better at watching my chart, watching my lines, and understanding exactly what's going on. That way I can trade like a machine, like Shade says, instead of getting nervous or something like that because it started to move back up, but there was nothing showing a trend change. This was a potential reversal, but the RSI was still coming down. Yeah, this was like classic bearish setup right here. And I profited off of it, but I should have profited more. And then what I should have also done, which I'm going to start pay attention a little bit more to, because I kind of forget because I don't do it very often, because I want to be careful. I can do a poor man's covered call on BMNR. BMNR had a bad day at the beginning of the day, and the trend very much so changed here. And as you can see, when the trend changed, MACD became above the zero line, which also made this a better run. And then we moved above the 50 and the 200. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to show you on MSTR. When I was making that move today, right here, this is why I got out too. My limit order hit, but also we were battling with the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. Right here, we were bouncing off of those 3 times on the bottom of these candles. So I thought, okay, that's semi-strong resistance right there. Or I'm sorry, strong support. And we bounced a little bit more. But right here, when we confirmed below and we were in a trend change, holy crap, I should have opened up another covered call right here and played the rest of this. Could have made another 50 to 100 bucks there on a covered call at the money. And I usually open up a month out. That way they're not, they're not short dated and I'm not working with assignment and stuff like that. But I actually probably need to open them up a little bit smaller. That way I have more room to roll out if I need to, if I'm wrong on a short-term shank. But yeah, I should ultimately kept this open most of the day. Now BMNR, I have 7 contracts on leap options that are dated for 2027 and 2028. So what I can do with those leap options is I can sell a covered call. It's called a poor man's covered call because it's covered because of the options contract, because they represent the 100 shares. So what I should have done is it open, since we were bearish, paid attention. We had a trend right here. Now I don't go on the monthly on this one because there's not enough data. The weekly, we still don't have a ton of data, but we got a little bit here. We got data since July. And we've pretty much been in consolidation. And we're actually looking at a bearish trend change crossover right here. We're still way above the zero line, so I don't know if this is going to be a hugely strong move downward because I'm finding a lot of strength in the 50s around on BMNR. But on the day, here we go. And I'm sorry, these are the daily candles. We are bearish too. We flipped bearish back here on the 10th. So bearish, bearish, bearish. That tells me on the daily or on the day chart that we're still going to be bearish. And then here was open. We fell hard at open. Old dollar. I probably wouldn't have played that just because that would have been a very fast move. Right here, we MACD curled over here. RSI is not getting hot or anything like that. So this could have been a bullish thing, but we were having kind of a down sentiment day. So here's the other thing. Right here, I would have potentially thought about taking or selling one right here because histogram came up. This would have been a scary place to maybe sell it because this can go either way. That's not a hot RSI at all. And we were coming up. But we play the sentiment of the day, and then here we are. two major things on the daily: 50 and the 200. Right there, right at each other. And boom, it bounced hard off that strong support, or I'm sorry, resistance. And then we came down. We came down from 54 down to 53. Now, yeah, I know that's just a dollar move, but that's semi-significant. When you have a contract at the money, every dollar, those contracts are going to move about $50 because of delta, a 50 delta. So I could probably set limit orders to take somewhere between $10 and $25 in profit as this falls. So a $25 profit would be a 50-cent move on a 50 delta contract on BMNR. Now, we did come all the way down here, but it was brief. That was within a 5-minute candle. Anyhow, so if I'd have played, even not all of them, just 5 of them, and played maybe even a $10 move, I could have made another $50 here. So what I'm going to be doing is playing poor man's covered calls on good looking charts from here on out. Now, I probably would have gotten out on that move and just made some money. And then who knows, maybe played it again here, because now we fell against the 13 and the 5. And we were riding down the Bollinger Band. RSI was coming down, histogram was going there. You could have played another one here because it still never turned. It wanted to, it tried. Now, I don't know a lot about candle patterns, so this candle might have helped me realize what the heck we were going to do on the next one. So I got to learn candle patterns a little bit better, but this is what I was seeing today, and obviously it would have worked out real well. And then right here, we had a trend change, but we didn't have any strength. We're riding right along the 5. We didn't go anywhere. And it came back down again. So now this was a strong move here towards the end of the day, which is very bullish, I like this, especially on BMNR and Ethereum. I'll have to check and see what Ethereum's doing. Right here when we crossed over, this played out to be a completely different story. But right here, geez, it was definitely a time to get out at 1 o'clock. I mean, you're oversold a territory right in here. Absolutely would have been the time to sell. For sure. Because you're RSI. So we don't always just pay attention to the indicator. We pay attention to everything that's going on in this line. We see what's going on up here with these indicators, and we see what's up here, and then we compare this to what's down here, and then we compare this to what's down here. And as those tell us what's going on, then we start listening. And then right here, when this curled, we did come above the 5 and the 13. So that tells me, and then right here, the 5 crossed the 13. That's usually a pretty bullish pattern. And it looks like we either came across the midline. Yeah, we came across the midline of the Bollinger Band. That's what this blue shaded box is. And then right back up to the 50-day moving average. So when the 5 crossed the 13 and we had a nice trend change, right there was a bullish move. Now, we made 50 cents a share on that confirmation. Confirmation, RSI heating up above these, and then boom, right there, profit taking at 52.60, right at the daggone line. Now it's come up above it since then, which was very bullish of a move on this bad day. Now, it's still not astronomical amounts of money, but here is how you read these charts. And I'm kind of teaching myself a little bit just because I'm looking at the patterns and seeing what they do. And then based upon what I know about 5 and 13 and different moving averages. And here we are. We're above the 200. We're above the 200-day moving average on the 5-minute chart. That's very short-term bullish right now. That's what I'm seeing. But where it looks like we're going to be fighting. with that 200. We might come back down and look, RSI, Bollinger Band. Here's the top of your Bollinger Band, top of the RSI. If you're still in it, now that's a really good time to play, potentially getting out of your move. So this is what I'm kind of looking at. This is what I'm learning. I'm learning on my own. I got to learn candlestick patterns a little bit better because I don't really know what they do. The only thing I know about candlesticks is that this is a decent one. So this is like the body of the candle, and then these top parts are called wicks. This is if it opened and closed. This is a 5-minute candle. So if it opened and closed, if it closed lower than it opened, this candle is going to be red, and if it closed higher than it opened, this candle was going to be green. So it opened here and closed there. This opened here and closed here. Then the wick is how much move the candle made during that interval. So that's what I know about candles. I don't really know anything else about them. And as you can see, we're probably going to bounce right here off this 200. We're fighting with it right now. And we've got 2 more minutes left in this candle. Actually, I'm sorry, it came down. Right now we came back above it a little bit. We're fighting with the 5. But yeah, so right there, it bounced right off the 200. This is bullish to me. Now let's check Ethereum real quick. Do I have it? We're bullish on the monthly, on the MACD. Coming down a little bit on the RSI. We're high up here. Still dropping. I think we're going to hit consolidation. That's what I'm seeing. People don't know what the heck's going on. We got a lot of decent news today. They're probably going to stop quantitative tightening very soon. They've gotten their balance sheet down from 9 trillion to 6.6 trillion. So I see that flipping pretty soon. That means the United States has got their balance sheet a little bit better, which is bullish because they're probably going to go into quantitative easing again, which means they're going to print money. Oh, look at this. We got a cross under on the weekly. That's bearish. That's bearish. Over the last couple of weeks, our MACD has come down. RSI has been hot. Yeah, we either need to consolidate or we're going to start tanking off a little bit on Ethereum. And then the daily. RSI looks good on the daily, but the MACD crossed and we're coming under the 0 line. So that tells me there's not a lot of strength right here. We're looking more weakness. But we could also consolidate. Because we've got a consolidation zone here. We've got a major sell-off on the MACD. We're starting to come down here. We've got the 200-day moving average there. 35 on the short term. That's our short-term price target. On the weekly, we got 22. So yeah, we could come all the way down here. It's possible. But with the things that are happening, with the things that are going on, I don't know. For me, I think sentiment is decent for as much crap as we got out there. Yeah, it's been a rough week. I'm still leveraged. Somebody on the Discord asked me if I got liquidated because they hadn't heard from me. And I was just quiet. But no, I didn't get liquidated. I'm still managing my account well. Bitcoin's still holding above 110,000. It can definitely move down. But yeah, everybody right now, we're in this spot where we're not sure. I think we're in a consolidation, but we could either rock it or we could tank. I don't think we're going to rock it, and I honestly don't think we're going to tank. We could still have a bad day or two. I forgot to show you MSTR. It could come down into the 230 range. right here. So somewhere in this range, it's either going to stay at the 300 area, or we could come down as low as like this 230, 240 range. It's a pretty big range. I mean, that's the weekly. I mean, look and see. Yeah, low end. I mean, this looks like a bottom to me. My golly, it bounced off of here 153 times. So 240-ish, 230, 240. We got a little bit of support right here in this like 260 range. So if we do have a pop down, we could be as low as 260 to 230. So prepare yourself for that. And if that happens, I'm going to have to take some losses on my options and potentially re-enter if I see something really bad happen. But I don't see that. I think that we're going to be entering in consolidation, and I think that right around the $300 mark, give or take, some money is where we're going to stay here. That's just my opinion. But the charts are telling us that we could potentially go lower. So there's your short-term analysis on this, but I highly recommend long-term shares buying in this range. And if you see it in the mid 250 or in the mid 200s, absolute steal, absolute steal. But when this starts to flip, when this weekly flips, oh boy, look out. We're gonna rock it. I still think I have a price target $500 to $800. I know that's a big range in the next 6 months on MSTR. I think Bitcoin's going to be somewhere between 150 and 200,000 over the next 3 to 6 months. And I think earnings on MSTR is coming up at the end of the month. They're going to have a stellar earnings report. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's looking good long term for sure. In the short term, we're looking volatile, potentially bearish, but I don't see it. I don't see us unless there's another black swan event. I think we've kind of come to our floor, especially close to MSTR. That's what I'm seeing. This is finance and investing, just Joey style. And yeah, once I start getting better at reading these charts and I can leave some stuff open, I can start making a little bit more money on the way down. And then, yeah, I made some moves with my option. I'm not worried about my BM&R positions. And as you can see, two of them, I set a limit order for 15,000 a piece. I think BM&R basically has to get to about $200 a share. And I know that's a ways away. It's almost 4 times where we are. We were at a high, though, around 65, I think. I call it a high because coming off the IPO. Yeah, almost 63. So we're going to struggle to get above there, but we were just a little over 3 times in this range to get up there. But I believe in the next 1.5 to 2.5 years that BM&R is definitely going to touch $200 a share. I actually think it's going to go higher than that, but I have some limit orders set for those options because I'm in them for a reason. I like Ethereum. I like Tom Lee. Oops. Anyhow, yeah, I like BM&R. I like the treasury companies, especially long term. It's actually become a long term hold for me because why not? Why the heck wouldn't you want to own 2 of the biggest companies that are holding 2 of the best networks in crypto? BM&R and MSTR. I'm telling you, over the next 2 to 5 years, you're probably really going to wish that you bought into these companies. Definitely MSTR. That's written all over the wall. BM&R is still kind of going to play out. There's a little bit of speculation in there, but Ethereum's been running for a decade. Wall Street's going to use it. Traditional finance is going to use it. Stablecoins are already using the crap out of it. Tokenization. Ethereum's great. All right. That's all for the video. I'll catch you guys later. It's finance investing just Joey style.